So you're thinking about house hacking, but you have a family, or maybe you have a family on the way and you're not sure if this is the right move for you. Well, today's video, I'm going to be breaking all of that down to make sure we can make house hacking a smooth and easy decision for you and your family moving forward. My name's Shawn McEnteer. I'm the house hacking realtor of Northern New Jersey. And I'm here to say that I've house hacked with 4 kids, 2 dogs, my wife and I, and we did it all over the state of Northern New Jersey. And it's actually changed our lives to a point now where we are financially free. We help others like you reduce the failure rate of new investors coming into today's market and fast track you on your real estate investing goals. That's the vision here. That's what I'm doing now. That's why I make videos like this. So really, it's a very, very simple question here of, what are you trying to do? You're trying to get to some form of real estate, maybe financial freedom. You came around the idea of house hacking, and maybe you have a family, or maybe you're starting a family, or you know that in the next couple of years, there might be a little one running around. How do you house hack? What are your options? Really, this came up because I just had my real estate investing meetup this past weekend, and it was great seeing past clients. I have yet another group that came in that have original house hacking kids. They had their little guy with them, and it's so cool because he's a 1.5-year-old house hacker, which is awesome. And I've got multiple clients doing that. And a lot of it is just because, you can do this with a family. It's actually really fun to incorporate your family. My wife and I have done it for many years. Our kids always look back at the house hacks that we've been in. They've got awesome memories with it. But, we need to map things out so it's comfortable for you and you understand what's going on. So I actually had another client too on top of it, which I'll be getting into a little bit later on, who has a multifamily and not exactly sure which way he wants to go, because he's like, I've got the kids, maybe I should do the single family. Well, I'm going to be letting you all in on a major secret. There is a massive emotional pull to the next way you go with your investment, and I'll be discussing that in a little bit, so stick around for that so you understand what exactly it is I'm talking about. But I guess long story short here, anyone can house hack. You really can if you have kids or whatnot, or you have kids on the way. I always say it's very, very safe, because maybe you're in an apartment building right now, or you're renting. Maybe you live in a multifamily, or maybe, wherever it is that you live, you don't necessarily get to pick your neighbors. But what's cool about house hacking is you actually do get to pick your neighbors, because, you're the landlord, you own the property. So you get to decide who's going to live there with you. So if you are living in an apartment complex, or maybe even a condo, you don't necessarily get to decide who's going to be in that building with you. You don't get to decide who the neighbors are going to be. But, when you own a multifamily and you're house hacking, you do get to decide. With that being said, I would say you probably don't want to house hack a single family. In North Jersey, we can do it both ways. I tend to be a little bit more towards the multifamilies because the return on investment tends to be a little bit higher. But I will say this, I'll be the first to say it. You probably don't want to house hack in a single family if you've got kids, or heck, even if, you've got a significant other. I mean, I just feel a little weird. If it's one thing if I'm like a single dude, or, single individual, and you want to rent out some rooms. Okay, cool. Not bad. But that's just my personal opinion, so I'll let you make that decision. Why don't you drop a comment below if you agree or disagree? I love to hear your feedback, so I know a little bit more about, what you're thinking. Because I love hearing feedback from people like you, because at the end of the day, this is what I make videos on. No different than my meetup this weekend with my house hacking clients and people trying to figure out which way they want to go for the next property. That's why I'm making this video right now. So I always listen to your comments. So I love to hear it. But when strategizing this, what's the best route? I always say the multifamilies, especially if you have a growing family, or you think a family's coming. And heck, even if you don't, I think multifamilies tend to get a little bit better return. So what I suggest is you find that multifamily, whatever it is, a side-by-side, over, under, triplex, quad, doesn't make a difference. And you're living in the unit. Now you're always going to get to decide who the people are in the next unit. Why do I say always? Because when you house hack, you're owner occupying the property. What's great about New Jersey is owner occupants get to decide who actually live in their property. So whether, unless there is a lease in place, you always have to abide to the lease. But if the lease has expired, you then get to decide who, you can say, hey, please, I would like you to leave. I need this unit vacant for, whatever reason. You don't even have to give a reason, but the courts will side in your favor. They will say, because you're an owner occupant, you get the right to decide who lives in the property. So you do get this opportunity to say who's going to be living there, assuming that they're month to month or the lease has expired. And you're going to be able to screen these individuals, make sure they're good, you understand who they are, and you'll feel safe and comfortable. Not that you get to do that in the condo or the apartment building. You don't get any of that. So that's what's a huge variable, because I know that's always going through your head. Like, do you want your kids around other strangers and everything like that? We never had an issue with that over the years when we were living in our house hacks. Now we live in a single family, but it is a value add single family, which I'll be getting into a little bit later. This is how I know about the emotional tie to things about living in single families, house hacks. I'm going to be covering that in a little bit. So definitely stick around so you can understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, when you live in the property, even if you're looking to renovate and everything with a family, there are ways and strategies of mapping it out so it's safe, it's organized, it's not like crazy construction. I kid you not, my daughter, my third child, she was born into a kitchen that literally had no sink, no anything, because I was redoing the floor. I took out the cabinets. The kitchen was completely gutted, and that's when she was born and brought back to our house. Fortunately, I had a little makeshift kitchen I put in the basement, so we were able to, keep the kids downstairs while we were renovating the upper unit and then kind of flop back and forth. But, there's little strategies and hacks that you can go into to make it safe for your family so you don't have to run into these predicaments, because I know these are things that are probably going through your head. Now, look, as I'm going through this video, I might be missing something. I might forget about something. By all means, like I said before, always drop a comment below if you have a question about house hacking, especially if it's pertaining to house hacking with a family, because I know there's a lot of craziness that's going in your head and you think you can't do it, but we did it with 4 kids and 2 dogs all throughout northern New Jersey. I'm telling you, you can do it too. So it is not that crazy. And I've got I've got actually dozens of clients now, believe it or not, over a dozen clients that have house hacked with children or have had their children born into a house hack. It's so cool. So you can do this for sure. But continuing on this, you get in this predicament here where you have the children, you're like, hey, what schools we're going to go to, all that kind of stuff. That plays a huge role, I will say. So a lot of it has to do with the age of the children. If they're young, let's say under 6, it really doesn't make a difference whether they're preschool and who knows where, or preschool and the town you want to live in. It doesn't make a difference. No, they're not really remembering that. I have got such a vague memory of all that time when I was their age, and my kids, they reference things, but it's like, it's not the memories they have when they get a little bit older. So if you have older kids, I will say that is where like the emotional side of things start playing, and they might not be so into breaking up friendships and everything like that. But look, at the end of the day, you're not alone. People in the military, they get transferred around the world. People get transferred from their job from one state to another. So things like this happen. And that's where I always like to say, and you always want to do this with your family if they're a little bit older, have older children, is have the vision for everyone. Right now, the vision's really clear with my children. Even though we're living in a single family, we still say, hey, look, what can we do to get to our next property? And, at the end of the day, it's like, the reason we were able to go to Disney this past year was because we have house hacks that are funding the property we live in, giving us cash flow, giving us opportunity. So how would you like to maybe do Disney next year for an extra week, or maybe go to another exotic location or go on an awesome vacation? Well, this is how we can do it. We can work hard to acquire another property, move into another house hack, or whatever it might be, but the children get on board with it. The kids want to be a part of that. My kids love it right now. They were literally cleaning up sticks and cleaning up garbage around the lawn this weekend because we made a clear vision for them. Now look, if they clean up sticks and garbage around the lawn, no, that doesn't mean we're going to bring them to Disney. It doesn't mean we're going to buy them a new house. But we had you get where I'm going with this, is they get incentivized and they're really excited. I think I got them ice cream or something like that. Yeah, actually I did. And they cleaned up. But we have different levels of vision. So when we were living in our house hacks, our vision for my wife and I was to get to the next one, to get to the next one, and so on. And when the kids started getting that age, we're a little bit older and they understand it, like, hey, look, we need to make sure that we paint this wall because then that can get to our next property. I'm not kidding. Even today, my oldest is in 5th grade and he gets excited over the fact that we might be moving out of this property. So, and on top of it too, now, this is where it actually gets a little crazy, is my older children don't go to the regular school that their friends go to. They go to a private school because they have dyslexia. So they don't necessarily hang out with their friends that they'd be hanging out with in town. If we lived in the next town over, we'd still be able to take them to hang out, still be able to take them to play like we're doing right now. So it doesn't necessarily matter. I know that's a huge emotional tie if you have older children, but there's still ways to make it work. What matters is what's your vision, going after your goals and achieving it. And you can do this as a family via house hacking, real estate investing, all that kind of stuff. But as I said earlier, there's a major emotional tie, and that's what I wanted to talk about next. And my wife and I are kind of living in it right now. So everything I like to say on my channel is through real life examples. I don't like to guess for you. I don't like to say maybe it's going to be like that, or ChatGPT said that it's going to be blah, 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 XYZ, whatever it is. No, this is my life experience repeating it because my wife and I, we got hit very hard originally when we started real estate investing, worked with the family friend realtor, never actually house hacked himself, never actually real estate invested himself. And there we are taking advice from them. It's like, do you go to the meat shop and ask the butcher, what's the best for my diet? He's going to say meat every single time. That's why you go to the dietitian, and the dietitian will say, hey, maybe you should have a salad, maybe you should have meat, maybe you shouldn't have that. But if you're going to go to the individual that specializes in one thing, they're probably going to say eat meat. Okay? So when we found out, when we started house hacking, we went to like the regular realtor, and it's like, yeah, buy a property, appreciates, blah, blah, blah. It's so great. Long story short, we aligned ourselves with the right people that were doing what we wanted to do, and we're repeating their secrets. And now I'm here to share the secrets with you so you don't have to live through that struggle. You don't have to pay that stupid tax that my wife and I had to pay when we first started. So everything I'm doing is based on real life experiences. And the big emotional side of this thing is house hacking with kids is you go to your properties, maybe you're in a house hack right now and you're deciding where should we go next because our kids, maybe they are a little bit older and like maybe you want to settle down. I will say this, it is very, very tough to sell a single family, to get out of the single family when you want to go to the next property. So we are in the single family right now. We have friends in town. We have, they're in the schools. It's not as motivating because we're comfortable. So I always like to share this because I don't want to see you in the same exact position where you're getting very comfortable. Maybe you have, the backyard is situated, Friday night you go to the local, restaurant and you have play dates and all this kind of stuff. With multifamilies, there is so much motivation. The motivation for us was always, how do we get out of here to get to the next property? You lose that with the single family. All right. So if you're in this predicament right now of, do I go to a single family? Do I go to a multifamily? Do I sell my single family and buy a multifamily, which I have clients doing right now, which is so cool. I've done that many, many times over the years where I actually, one of my very, very original house hacking clients, they had their daughter and they had their son on the way, the second on the way, sold their property, moved into a duplex. They're killing it. They're loving it. Changed their lives. It's so awesome because they're getting that income coming in and they're just sick of every single day. Similar to like my wife and I, we had to work, 40 hours a week each in order to pay a mortgage. And the second we didn't work, We, we could potentially lose our house. With house hacking, if you don't work, the tenants pay a good portion of that mortgage. So, I have it every which way that we've experienced it and done it from my clients to myself via house hacking with a family. So when you're in that position right now of, you have a single family and you're like, I don't want to do this for 30, 40 more years. I don't want to work for someone else for this long period of time. Selling that single family might be a serious option. On the other hand, I've got other clients that I was like, your interest rate is so low. If anyone's telling you to sell this property, they're not looking out for your best interest. So there's a lot of clients now that are like, okay, let's turn that single family into a rental and then go buy the duplex, which is a really crazy thing to do because it's awesome. But the reason I say it's crazy is because lending doesn't always like that, but I've got hacks to get around it. So if you need help, by all means, drop a comment below. Happy to help with that. All that being said, hey, we're far into this video right now, and if you're liking everything if you like everything I'm saying, please make sure to hit the bell, click subscribe so you can stay up to date with everything happening in Northern New Jersey, especially from a house hacker standpoint, because that's what the bulk of my content is on this channel, is for house hackers. So please make sure to click subscribe. But going back onto everything there's such an emotional tie with the single family properties that you're not going to see with the house hack, because there's always this drive of we must get to the next property. We must go. So my wife and I, we'd go into a duplex and we're like, we got to get out of here as fast as we can. Another duplex, get out of here as fast as we can. You get that. All right. So I say there is a major, major emotional tie to buying that single family where you might get caught being stagnant. That's my take on it. That's my opinion. You let me know if I'm crazy. You can say, don't be afraid to say, Shawn, you're an idiot. I don't care. Drop a comment below. I'm fine with it because I need to have your perspective as well in order to be better at making this content. But hey, look, like I said, I'm telling real life stories of how my wife and I have house hacked, and I'm sharing it with you because I want to make sure to accelerate your journey. You can do this with kids. It's absolutely fun. Kid you not, I'm literally thinking of, I have a house hacking clients. I have older kids and they're killing, they're loving it. I watch every day on Instagram. I'm seeing their story. They're skating. They're walking around town, having a good time. You can really do this regardless if you have newborns, teenagers, older for sure. So it's definitely possible, but I always want to map things out so you know what to expect. That emotional tie to things, and that a lot of it just has to do with the single family. You get comfortable. You get comfortable there. And I know that it is what it is. It's not as easy to move. So for more videos like this, make sure you click subscribe and make sure you drop a comment, like, all that kind of stuff. And you can always reach out to me if you want a house hack. I'm here to help. I get phone calls, texts, emails every single day from people just like you looking to buy, sell, and invest in Northern New Jersey. And I love helping you out, and I love seeing those phone calls because this is fun. This is real estate investing. This is everything North Jersey. I'll see you on the next video. And actually, there's probably going to be a video popping up right here. Yeah, right there. Click it. Click it right now. Go. See ya.